Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Glenn Anything live Q&A with Glenn Ambrose. Glenn, how are you? What are you trying? Yeah,
that's Ben.
Yeah, good job. You finally figured out how to point.
Yeah.
So you are live all the way from the Dominican Republic once again.
I am.
How is it going in the Dominican this week, my friend?
It's going awesome.
Oh yeah?
Meeting so many cool, interesting people with their own paths, but everybody's just so grounded and spiritual and peaceful, and when they're not, they're like kind of, this is actually interesting. I think the people I'm meeting are they beat themselves up less than the people normally in the US. Maybe that's a difference. Like, because their lives aren't perfect, they have issues and stuff and personal stuff to work through just like everybody, but like they're more accepting of it, They're like, oh yeah, I got to work on that. It's like, yeah, good. So there might be a little bit less beating themselves up over here, which is pretty cool.
That is a good thing. So if you have any questions and you are watching this live, please feel free to put them in the comments, and Glenn will answer your question live. Also, if you don't want to do it in such a public forum and you want to ask your question anonymously, you can do that by sending an email to glenn@glennambrose.com. Send that email. It's not going to sign you up for anything like that or anything. You can ask your question and we will have Glenn answer it. So Glenn, first of all, I have a question it's a follow-up to last week. Last week we talked a lot about not being dependent, not being focused and fixated on the outcome of a situation, but enjoying the process and the journey and the, but to not be so fixated on and not have the expectations of the outcome that you want on things. And I was like, this is great. I talked myself through some stuff in my head that I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed for this week. This is going to be a great weekend. But it was.
I feel a butt coming.
It was the biggest, complete opposite of that. Like, I couldn't have ended up being. I was so confident when I left our live stream last Thursday. I was I was like, clarity, got it, good. Not going to be dependent on the outcome. I got it up here. We're good to go. Walked out the door. Had a decent night that night. Was all jazzed up. Literally in my head after we hung up with this, I was like, situations are good. Focus on the moment that you have. Don't focus on the grand scheme of things. Don't try to climb a mountain in one leap. Like, the outcomes don't matter. Try, do your best, do the thing, focus on what's happening right now. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I had a good night with that. It was all focused in my head. I did everything fine that night. And then the next day / all through the weekend, horribleness. Just 100% outcome driven. That was the only thing that I cared about. Made every mistake possible because I was fixated on the outcome and then getting upset about the outcome. You know what I mean? So, like, my question isn't to reiterate everything that you said last week about not being fixated on the outcome. My question is, why the hell do we sabotage ourselves? when we know the right thing to do and we don't do it?
Because we live unconsciously. You know, you're not if you knew a healthy way of doing something and an unhealthy way of doing something, and you were conscious, you wouldn't choose the unhealthy way.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't make any sense. Why would you choose to suffer? You know, so that implies unconsciousness. So you're living unconsciously. So you're just doing. And I mean, you know, it's the hardest for me. Like when I'm working, it's the easiest because I'm not in my head and, you know, it's just information flowing and I'm focused on what's best for the person that I'm working at. So my emotions don't get involved. My brain doesn't really get involved. It's just information focused on them and their outcomes. So like, it's pretty easy. But I have the most trouble when there's things that I can seemingly have control over. Like my days when I'm not working with clients and I'm working on the computer and I might be working on a marketing plan or paying bills or doing anything that requires my intellect, me doing something to achieve a specific result. So that's where, because you kind of, you know, it's kind of like dieting. It's the same reason that people have difficulty dieting, because like, and I'm not saying any of this stuff is easy, but like when you're an alcoholic and you quit drinking, it's, you know, abstinence. Now, of course, you know, in my opinion, there's a whole, you have to do the inner work and shift and all that stuff. So there's more to it. I get that. But you can abstain from the thing that's got you. When dieting, you can't do that. You know, so you need to learn, because if you stop eating, you die. So you have to learn to you know, do the behavior that you have some unhealthy things with, but in a healthier way. You can't just abstain. So this is why I think it's more difficult. Like you have to bring your brain into accomplishing certain activities. And as soon as you engage your brain, the unconsciousness wants to kick in. And there's such a speed of us doing things that it's easy to fall into that unconsciousness. So it's, you know, the biggest thing is just slowing down and, you know, just coming back into the present moment and coming back into the present moment. And then after that, coming back into the present moment, you know, so you don't get caught up. And then, you know, if you do get caught up, which we probably will, it's recognizing that we're caught up and not going, oh no, I'm caught up. I'm doing this wrong. I shouldn't be doing it wrong. Oh, well, I'm going now. Like you have to stop and break it. You know, you have to break that momentum and stop and go, I'm not moving forward. I have to stop and start functioning more consciously, doing things on purpose. And so I'm going to try to take that mentality and put it into something that's a little easier to achieve, because it's hard to achieve, you know, working on your doing things that you're all caught up with as you're working, you know, on your computer. It's hard to do that. So start by doing it when you brush your teeth, when you're taking a shower, when you're doing things that you have a better chance of staying present for. You know, while you're brushing your teeth, okay, I'm brushing my teeth. I have to practice doing menial things in the present moment. And then you can start bringing them into your work, because just trying to do it into your work, there's such a pull. It's hard to make that jump. I still get sucked out when I'm doing computer work sometimes. That's the only time Faith, my dog, will not sit right next to me. I'm serious. Like if I'm doing anything, my dog is next to me. If I am working with clients, the dog is usually next to me. But if I am doing computer work, dog goes upstairs. Because my energy shifts. I get caught up in what I'm doing. So that's the hardest for me. And I think it's the hardest for a lot of people. So practicing in other situations and then bringing it into our work, I think we're going to have more luck.
Thank you. I will let you know next week how that's going. I got control over myself for the most part by Monday, and it's been okay ever since. But
good. So you slowed down and pull and just
Friday was Thursday was great. Like I said, Friday was bad. Saturday was okay, and then Sunday was just god awful. Anyway, so Jen has a question. Hi, Glenn. Do you believe one can change their self to be more positive with meditation and to fight depression, anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, and I saw Natalie out there too. Hi, Natalie. Yes, slowing down. Absolutely.
Natalie says one of the great things that COVID offered me was slowing down. Yep.
Definitely. That's one of the lessons we're all supposed to be learning. So yeah, Jen, it's, I mean, yes, definitely. I mean, I believe anybody can change anything. Like, I mean, from my past, I have to, because I did, like, I mean, I completely changed every aspect of myself. So yes, definitely. And I mean, with meditation, yes, I think meditation is an important part of absolutely anything spiritual. We need to slow our mind down and be more in control of our thoughts and our actions. And meditation is a key component. So I think we all need to do that. Fighting depression and anxiety, meditation can help with that because it puts you more in control of your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions. So yes, I think, but so the reason I'm hemming and hawing on this answer is because there's two answers. All right. And I'm trying to figure out a way to satisfy both. And so I just have to say, so, ultimately, if we just meditated and went inside, we have all the answers. Like, you don't need a teacher. You don't need a guru. You don't need to listen to podcasts and watch Ask Glenn Anything or read a book. You don't need any of that technically. So you could just meditate, and you could actually solve your depression and anxiety just through meditation. Is it likely or fast? Not really. There's lots of other tools that you can use to help with depression and anxiety along with meditation. So I think meditation is a key component if you expect to have any type of peace in your life. And I think, but there's specific things you can do for depression and anxiety. Depression is a specific energy, and so is anxiety. So there are things that we can do to work through those things. And it's Einstein's quote, we can't fix a problem with the consciousness that created it. So if we're experiencing a great amount of depression and anxiety, it's because of how we learn to deal with life. We didn't learn to deal with life very well because society taught us, and society, as we can see, is messed up. So we learned ineffective ways to deal with life. Most people are anxious. Most people have experienced some levels of depression. So we have to find other ways. So, I mean, this is, I think, when it's important to take in outside knowledge about these subjects, work with a life coach, read the book, find other ways of functioning where you can deal with life without the depression and anxiety. There are ways to do it. I help people with that regularly,
Yeah.
So hopefully that answered it.
Jen, let us know if that answered your question. Luke on YouTube, check out Glenn's YouTube page, Glenn Ambrose on YouTube. Huge fan. I assume that was a autocorrect. Should say Glenn. Y'all have helped me a lot. Thanks so much. I don't have a question at the moment, but I want you guys to know you have made a big difference in my life. Much love.
Thank you, Luke.
That's awesome.
It is awesome because it's like, I get so caught up in the moment, just doing what I do and feeling the joy that flows through. I do it for the joy, And so I don't wait for those, hey, you really changed my life. I don't wait for them. But boy, when they come, it's like, wow, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
We can actually touch people and improve their lives. It's a nice feeling. So thank you for that, Luke.
Jen, by the way, says yes, thank you. So you did answer the question.
Excellent.
That you wanted. Maria says, how to get motivated with my business and get more clients.
Maria, one of my friends from Massachusetts. How to get motivated with my business, get more clients. Well, the getting more clients will come when you get more motivated with the business. So I think that's bigger, like it's not what we do, it's the energy in which we do it. So all work is inside work. And I want to, damn, there's such a big spiritual answer to this question. But it's tough going down a spiritual rabbit hole on something like this. So like, I'll just touch on it and try to get practical. So, like when I was building my business, I did tons of marketing and I was doing everything myself, and I'm a researcher, so I can dive in and research and then find and then implement, because I'm an action taker, and do all these things. And very rarely did any of that do anything for my business. I mean, almost never. I want to say zero, never, but I must have gotten something out of something that I've done. As a general rule, it didn't do anything. But so a lot of times when I went on vacation, I would get clients coming to me because I was doing too much, So there's an aspect of allowing. The other thing is when I was focusing on my intention of how I was doing things, if it was like, I just want to be able to help people. If I did things with that energy, it connected with people with that energy. Like one time, this is a specific example. One time I was stressed out about money, and I was doing Reiki at the time. So I sent an email or a text or something to several people that I knew might be interested in Reiki. And I said, hey, if you guys want Reiki, let me know. I can set you up with an appointment. I was trying to bring in more income. And one of my friends contacted me and said, hey, can we talk? And it was one of the people that I sent this message to. I said, sure. And they said, so I know that you're a good person and you don't use people for money, but when you sent that message, I got this feeling like you kind of were. It felt like it was money driven. And I never get that from you. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what it was. It was completely money driven. I wasn't trying to help people. I was trying to make money. And that was the energy. And somebody that is really she was connected to energy, and she could feel that. She picked up on it instantly. Now, most people aren't going to pick up and be able to identify that. She was able to. But my point is the energy in which we put stuff out, people can feel it. And even if they're not conscious, we read energy way better than we think we do. And everybody does. It's just we think we don't. But we just have this feeling like, oh, am I interested? Nah, maybe not. And then we just go off. That's a lot of times that's energy. So pay attention to the energy in which you're doing things. And the other, how to get motivated, pay attention to your why. We think we're victims of life. Oh, I have to go to work. I have to get motivated, and I have to find new clients. Like, no, you don't have to do crap. You can sit on your butt and do nothing. You might lose your house. There might be consequences, but we don't like, if, Maria, I know you have your own business, so help with my business. Like, it's your business. So focus on your why. That's where your motivation comes from. So like, you have your own business because you don't like working for other people. You have your own business because you can make your own schedule. You have your own business because it can provide the life that you want on your terms. Those are your whys. So instead of getting caught up with, oh, I have to go do this, or I have to go do that. No, I get to go do this. So I did that with my business. Like, I didn't like doing some of the marketing or accounting stuff. And it would, I have to do this, I have to do it. And I'd be like, stop, hit the brakes. I don't have to do anything. Why don't I just look and go, like, I get to do that? What do I get out of having my own business? I get to not deal with a boss. I get to, make my own schedule. I get to all this stuff. And I have to take a little time out of my day to do this, to get all that. I'm in. And then I'd start doing it. And as I did it in that energy, all of a sudden I realized, I was like, you know what? It's possible to take pleasure in doing this because I'm so pumped up on my why. And I could do that in literally 5 minutes, shift from I hate this and I'm frustrated to I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually enjoying doing this. Just because of focusing on my why and getting clarity as to why I'm doing these things. Yes, you are fortunate, Maria. Hi, Sarah. You caught us. You caught us in Cali, I think, or no, she might be in Aruba. I can't even tell you how helpful this is and how timely this is. Just WOW. Wow. You're muted, Ben.
That makes sense. That makes sense as to why you were talking over me. I was like,
oh, you were talking?
Yeah, I was like, Glenn doesn't usually.
Jeez,
Glenn doesn't usually. I was like, Glenn doesn't usually talk over me. I forgot that I muted myself so that I could cough and breathe out for a second. That was a great answer. Yeah, Sarah says I can't hear Ben. You can now, and I'm sorry. And I know that I have a nasally voice. So
what?
What are we doing now?
Why are you talking about your nasally voice?
I don't know, because
nobody even said that.
Somebody that listens to this will go, he sounds like he's sick all the time. When it's on Insight Timer later. So
all work is inside work, Lauren.
Yes. That's awesome. Yep. She said I like that. So that's cool. That's the first time that she heard that. I'm actually in Colorado right now. Back in Cali next week, then head to the Bahamas next month. That's a busy schedule, Sarah.
Remember I told you Sarah's a traveler?
Yeah.
This is why I said that. She's all over the place.
I love it. So if anybody else has more questions, feel free to ask them. We have a little bit of time left. I will ask a question that has been coming up more and more for me lately.
Why is your voice nasally?
No. Two things. It's a serious question, actually. We don't mind your nasally voice. Well, thank you, Sarah.
See, now it's a topic.
Yeah, it's fine.
Way to go, Ben.
Thanks. It's fine. People like me. So here's my question for you is I have had in the past as I've said many times, too many times on these shows, in 2009 during the last pandemic for H1N1, I got it. I almost died. I was on a ventilator for 2 weeks and yada, 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 all of that stuff, in the hospital for 6 weeks, whatever. Have this fun scar if you're watching on video. And so then after that, I had some PTSD, anxiety issues where I don't even remember. Do you remember, Glenn? I think that it started to go away when I started working with you, but I had like that blinking tick for a while. And did I have that when I was?
A little bit, not too often, but
so anyway, it was bad, and like so
I was
having
calming, so you know.
So I was having anxiety attacks like a lot, and then I hadn't had them in a while, in like a good long time. For the most part, they were very rare. But in the last month, they've started to come back a little bit, and I was.
Jeez, I'm shocked.
So I haven't been sleeping well. I haven't gone to bed before 2:30 like more than one time in the past month, and I haven't. And I've been having these panic attacks sometimes during shows. Yesterday morning, I was having a morning. I was doing a morning show, and I had to get up and walk away for a second and let the other person talk because I just needed a second to sort of wrap my head around everything again. And
So you're having panic attacks.
yeah, and so what would be your suggestion for what the hell I'm supposed to do now?
I've had panic attacks, at multiple points in my life, and they can be horrible. But yeah, during panic attacks, I think you probably know, you got to remind yourself you're going to be okay and all that stuff. But it's so those are kind of like treatments, but it's more important about, instead of treating the symptom, treating the cause, so, you look at your life and what has changed recently.
Yeah, my dad died a month ago.
Yeah, your dad died a month ago, and you've been busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. So, geez, I don't know. I wonder, could it be? I wonder if there's a correlation. Can we ask for help on this one? Yeah. So, that's why you're having panic attacks. You need to slow down. You need to up your self-care, and you need to make sure you take time to process the feelings that are going through you.
Yeah.
So it's, I told you when your dad passed, and I think that this might be helpful with everybody. Like it's, there's a, not everybody has to grieve in the same way. And I don't think that it was an accident that your schedule was so busy when your dad passed, and that you chose to keep up with that schedule. I think, honestly, I think it was helpful for you at that time. But as I said, I'll say this to everybody, like we do have to make sure we take time to process that. So we can't, it's okay to kind of stay busy for a little while as long as we're carving out time to step back and do the processing on our own terms, because we will process emotions. It's not an if, it's a when. So we either, some people need to do it all at once in the beginning, some people a little at a time, some people, and people don't really know this. You can do it on your own terms. I've done it. Like I've been in very difficult emotional situations where I was too busy and with work and being a father and all this stuff. So I was like, I'm going to stuff this stuff to the side here and do what I need to do. But I would take time out, multiple times a week to carve out some time and literally sit down and really get out some good snot bubble feeling, dive in, process, and specifically do it. And then I could go back into my life and function for a few more days, and then I'd have to take another day. So we cannot avoid processing. There's emotions and grief that we are going to go through. So, I think you need to make sure you're carving out some time, not only for self-care, which I think you've been doing a little bit of, but make sure you do self-care and processing, So self-care sometimes can be quiet time. Sometimes it can be something fun. Sometimes it can be something to disconnect from the work and distract yourself even. But yeah, you got to take that time to process, because it's going to come out one way or another, and it's starting to come out in panic attacks.
I want to say thank you, by the way, for everybody.
Yeah,
on the side. It's very nice. So thank you guys all for that.
I have the best listeners.
You do. By the way, Maria, who you know from your younger days says you've come so far, Glenn.
Yes. So, and all you people that didn't know me when I was growing up, listen to Maria. She knows of which she speaks. I was a nut job, man, when I was younger.
Yeah, me too, and I'm still younger. So, still a nut job. But thank you, Glenn, and thank you everybody for listening. And obviously, there's so many things. If you want to send in a question, send it in to Glenn@glennambrose.com. We'll answer that question next week, or Glenn will answer that question next week. And you can check out the website for everything Glenn related. If you want to, if you're looking
there
for
might be
or a book or
one or two podcasts, or maybe like 180 or 200.
Something like that. I don't know.
Like that. So
yeah. Joni says maybe not a complete nut job.
I don't know. I mean, if I wasn't complete nut job, I had to be pretty close to complete. I like if there's 100 slices, we're talking like 98, 99.
Yeah. All right, guys, join us here live every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time to ask Glenn anything. Glenn, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And thank you everybody for the kind words today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful show with beautiful people. Good stuff. All right, thank you everybody for listening, and send in your questions and check out the website. All right, thank you. Bye.